Welcome to this introductory session around the basics of technical writing in software documentation. What can you expect in this session? In the next couple of minutes, I'm going to cover various subjects related to the basics of technical writing. First of all, we are going to talk about who actually is a technical writer, with the idea that in the end you will be able to explain what a technical writer is supposed to actually do. I'm going to take a look at how technical writing is applied in software documentation. As a result, you will be able to describe this connection between the technical writing world and the software documentation world. You will be able also to explain what is the actual job of the technical writer in the end of this session. Another thing that you will gain in this part is that you will know now what is the possible place that a technical writer can take in a software development team, or how do you fit as a technical writer in software development world. The last thing that I'm going to share with you, and it's completely based on my previous experience, is around the actual process for writing software documentation. It can be extremely helpful for you if you want to figure out from where to start writing software documentation and where does it end. So the entire end-to-end process is also going to be covered. Allow me to quickly and briefly introduce myself. My name is Jordan Stanchev, and I am a user assistance development architect at one of the largest software development companies of the world, SAP. I'm also a founder of the technical writing school, JP School of Technical Writing, where I'm sharing my nearly 20 years of experience in the industry related to software development and technical writing. JP School of Technical Writing is involved into the development and delivery of e-learnings that you can take at your own pace and that allows you to build the necessary skills for becoming a technical writer. Let's start with the following questions. What actually is technical writing? And what is actually software documentation? The first thing I would suggest that we start is to take a look at this definition. What is actually technical writing? Technical writing is a discipline of writing text. It is a special type of writing that you use when you need to explain to another person what is the product or service that you provide, and also what are the features of this product or service. Unlike other styles of writing, technical writing is meant to structure and organize this type of information in a meaningful way. You use it, and you want to use and apply the technical writing discipline when you have to explain to your end users things like how to install, set up and configure, use, maintain or dispose of a product or a service. Let's also take a look at who actually is a technical writer. As per definition, the technical writing discipline is performed by professionals, and those people are most often referred to as technical writer or simply authors. Now, this definition can be a little bit too vague for you. And the reason for that is that actually technical writing is not so much a profession that only technical writers can do. Technical writing is a skill. It is related to many different types of jobs that you can perform out there. And here are just samples of what those different job titles may look like. You will find out that actually technical writers are frequently referred to as technical communicators. You will hear also technical writers, especially in the software development industries, being referred to as information developers. You will often hear also about user assistance developers. I myself am a user assistance developer myself in my company, and also a user assistance development architect. These are the job titles that I have. Technical writing is also performed by information architects. You will hear also about technical writing when we talk about the profession of the publisher. Business analysts, a profession which is currently getting more and more popular in the field, is also applying technical writing in their work. And also anyone who has to deal with support and is perceived as a support specialist needs to know at least a little bit around technical writing. So every time we say that somebody is a technical writer, he or she may fall also under any of these job titles. And not necessarily only this, it could be even more professions who can leverage and benefit from technical writing skills. Now, what it is that people usually imagine when they hear technical writing? I want to give you here a small example. One of the most popular deliverables that technical writers are popular for is the user guide. This is what the technical writer produces and delivers, some sort of instruction, or as many people call it, a manual. So usually this is the thing that comes to mind to most people when they hear about technical writers and what the technical writers do. Allow me to share a small secret with you. Actually, this is not the only thing that technical writers do on their job. So actually, what the technical writers do is to perform and execute various processes. Technical writers are in charge of or involved in processes related to planning the documentation, preparing, creating it, structuring and organizing, classifying, delivering, and maintaining. And now take a look at that part here. All of that applies to information for a specific user of a product or a service needed to efficiently use it. It is not only the manuals. There is a lot more happening in the background that is extremely relevant for a technical writer, and it is in the core of what the technical writers do. This is extremely valid in the software development world. There we need to take a look at the relation between technical writing and software development world, or to name it a little bit differently, the software documentation. Now, how does technical writing relate to software documentation? Let's take a look at that. What is actually technical writing all about, especially in the software development world? If I have to explain it, this is an example that I can give you. It is about explaining to the end user how to solve problems. Every product that I've seen out there always says we have the best user experience ever. Our tools are intuitive, easy and simple to use. We don't need documentation. Well, and then the customer purchases the software, tries to use that, and guess what? Something goes wrong. What is the first natural reaction of the user? I need to take a look at the documentation. And if it's not there, then you have a problem. Usually, software documentation is some written text that accompanies the computer software. This small sentence here, this small statement here, is actually this small sentence here, which explains what is software documentation, is actually extremely important because it also tells you something very, very important. That actually the software documentation is a product deliverable by itself. It is not the software. It is something you deliver together with the software, which makes the software documentation a product by itself. Let's take a look at how the role of the technical writer fits the software development world. Well, first of all, for the customers, the technical writers help the users to effectively set up and use their software. The documentation that is written by the technical writers assists the user in solving a problem by themselves. Think about it like this. What do software developers do? They frequently tend to deliver product and services and what? Automations. The technical writers in the software development world are the ones who automate this assistance for the user. We allow the users to solve the problem by themselves, by the documentation that we deliver for them. And of course, this leads to a more happy customer. Our job is to make customers happy when using the software. You will frequently hear that to be referred to as the technical writer is acting as the customer's advocate. This is what it means. You're there to defend the point of view of the end user towards the software. How does the technical writers impact the software development teams? Well, obviously, there they are saving time and energy of the development team, which usually would then be spent on writing the software documentation. That's one of the reasons why this profession thrives and continuously contribute to the efforts of the team. You will find maybe and hear situations in which software development team says, we don't need developers, we don't need technical writers, which is perfectly fine as long as the team is small and no customer-facing documentation is needed. But then, when the product becomes more and more successful, the need for software documentation grows. And in this moment in time, the need for technical writers as part of the team emerges, and the added value by the technical writer becomes more and more visible. Let's take a look at what are the actual deliverables that you contribute in the software development world. I already told you about the user guide, and I have to be fair with you here. I did a little bit of cheating in this presentation, because actually the user guide is not the most important thing in the world. Yes, it might be the most popular deliverable that is put out there and recognized by everybody around you, but this is not the essence and the most important deliverable of the technical writer. Actually, technical writers are supposed to handle information and different types of information, including the user guide. But the technical writer needs also to be able to provide API documentation, user interface texts which are displayed on the screen of the software, embedded instructions directly on the screen, instructional videos, images, infographics, voice instructions, any types of multimedia which are going to help the user accomplish his or her job. And last but not least, the technical writers are heavily involved into handling of metadata that then is used by machines and algorithms for search and retrieval of the right information piece in the right moment in time. The truth is that technical writing and technical writer are just labels. In reality, real technical writers are doing so much more than just writing user guides. Let's take a look at the software development team and how it is usually organized nowadays. First, let's remember something which is very important. Why this team actually exists? The only reason a software development team is supposed to exist is to serve somebody. Who is this one? The king, our customer. Usually there is somebody or a group in the team that interacts directly with the customer. It could be the product owner or a business analyst or a project manager or a team lead that collects and organizes the requirements for the development team, or in other words, describes in a way that the development team can understand the customer needs and expectations from the software that is being developed. Now here is the developer. The developers does what? They are involved into the development of the software functionality, of course. They can also be involved in the testing of the implementation, or quality assurance people are the ones performing this job for them. We have people like usability experts who take care to design the user interfaces, how the actual interaction of the customer with the software is supposed to happen. And here is our technical writer. The technical writer now is involved in the team into writing and preparation of the documentation deliverable. He helps the user interface developers and the usability experts by reviewing and proposing different texts that should appear on the screen. He also is involved into creating proposals about information that should be embedded in the software. On top of that, the technical writer is creating instructional videos or different types of graphics and images that assist the user. This is where you would find a technical writer which is a part of a software development team. One question that can be extremely interesting and relevant for you is also around the technical writing process. Many people who are involved in this profession actually do not have a background in technical writing. Very few people actually graduate as technical writers. You will be surprised to find out that many people actually come from completely different professions. If you ask me, I'm a biotechnologist by education myself. What does it have to do with technical writing, right? Very little, of course. But still, everyone needs to know from where to start writing technical documentation and where does it end. So this simple process here can help you in this quest. The entire process starts by first doing a research and collecting the needed information for the documentation. You begin by writing everything that you know down. This is often called just dump the information that you have. no structure, no organization. Just start by writing down whatever you know about the subject you are going to document. Once you have this brain dump in front of you, you begin to structure and organize it. Once you have this information in front of you, you begin to structure and organize it until you feel that you have in front of you the so-called information draft, a version of the documentation that you feel, well, it's not complete, it's not ready to go. It just gives an idea of the overall shape and form of the documentation. This is what I would call your very first draft. It is already time to present it to stakeholders and collect their feedback. Was it this type of information that they were expecting? Was it something else? Is there something missing? Most probably there is. What else should be added? But give them something to look at, something that they can work with. As soon as you get the feedback, reflect it in the documentation and prepare the next draft. Continue through this process until you feel confident and ready to have a final delivery. Publish this deliverable to your customers via the chosen information channel. This does not close the process. This does not complete the process. You still need to collect customers' feedback and maintain the documentation afterwards. I hope what you learned so far is interesting and relevant for you. All the time, our goal is to change and make a better user experience with software. The goal of the technical writers are to take our customers from this situation in which they don't know how to move forward to a situation in which they can say, great tool, I know what will happen when I click here and I feel confident in using it and achieving my business goals. If you want to learn more, I would suggest that you take a look at my course on how to write software documentation. You will find it on this link, and I will be happy to find out how your technical writing was impacted by that. Don't forget also to subscribe to our mailing list so that you stay up to date with latest news and events around technical writing. Thank you for being here with me.